it's Jessica from Audacity, and I am here with the lovely Jhazzymn Jhane. Thanks so much for coming. We're so excited to have you.
I'm equally excited. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, of course. Guys, okay, so she is here to talk about her latest book, To Feel the Darkness But Choose the Light. And y'all, when I tell y'all this lady is one of the most amazing poets, she was a sponsor for Audacity's anniversary. She created like this beautiful custom typewriter poem for our winner. She also is one of my former castmates. Soon to be like, hopefully soon to be current castmates again because we're both actors. So
Yes, we need to do something
and
together.
there's more jobs here. But I'm so happy that you chose to like choose Audacity, chose to choose Audacity, that you chose
I
for
love it.
promoting your book. Yeah. So like tell us all about it. What was the inspiration? How long have you been working on it? And explain the early release because you were set for September.
All the things. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm a big Audacity fan, so I'm excited to be here and talk to everyone and just get into it. So I will start with the early release thing because that was the thing. So this is my first time using Ingram Spark. And Ingram Spark is good. I've used KDP in the past, and I think the process with KDP was a little bit more seamless, but I think you reach less people because it's just through Amazon, where Ingram Spark has a lot more distributors. And the way that they do books, it's easier for people to kind of order books from Ingram Spark and all those things. So I was like, I'm going to use Ingram Spark this year. Um, and it was just a lot. Like, I had a time with getting my cover up there. That's what took like so long to get it kind of up online. Doing my own sale date versus like my publishing day, and like it was just a lot of like figuring things out, and I had to have a lot of help, and I couldn't change my own sale date. So I was like, well, forget it, we're just gonna have to make the best of this. And I was like, I'll release the book now, people can get like their copies of the book, but I'll still do all of my launch stuff, like launch events, any like book signings, things like that in September, just to kind of keep that as official pub date or whatever. And I think
I
the
mean, it's honestly a good idea because then you can keep the buzz going.
Yeah, that's true too. And I think the Kindle version will be out closer to the September day. It's just been like a lot of weird stuff, but I've learned so much. So in the future, I will be prepared. Um, but yes, so we are keeping the buzz going. We are making the most of the craziness of publishing, being an independent publisher. Um, Hopefully one day I'll have a publisher, so I don't have to worry about all this stuff. But for now, we're here.
Independent publishing is tough too, so like kudos to you. I know a few friends who published independently, and I remember I was fighting with them about it for a minute. I was like, I'm telling you, you better be stressed. You're gonna be stressed. Like,
It's
well,
stressful.
like I'll keep all the money, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you'll keep all the money, but like you won't get the same distribution. Like you are 100% gonna be responsible for your sales, dude. Like
Yeah,
sure.
it is stressful.
So, like, what is, for the audience sake, because a lot of people think that it's just like a numbers game, what is the difference between self-publishing and actually having a publisher? Because a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I've never had a publisher, but I do feel like so with self-publishing, since that's what I'm most familiar with, it is kind of you're doing all the steps by yourself. So you're marketing, unless you're gonna like outsource for somebody to do that for you. You're doing a lot of the steps by yourself. So you're marketing yourself, you are putting the book together in essence yourself. You're finding an editor, you're finding somebody to do your cover, you're finding somebody to format, or you're buying something to do your formatting yourself, some sort of a like application to do it. Um, but yeah, you're like really doing everything yourself. You're booking your own things. Like it is really like your hands on doing everything yourself. Whereas I never had a publisher, but they would kind of help to make the process easier, more seamless, with helping you to get all those things done. So you have that extra help of like finding things, figuring out marketing and all of that versus doing it by yourself, doing everything by yourself. So it is like stressful, but it definitely teaches you a lot. Lots of
Yeah.
skills that I'm learning, lots of things that I'm learning. Definitely staying like on the ball for sure.
I feel like it puts you in the position too to like when you do get a publisher, you know what you're doing, basically. You
Yeah,
know the game a
true.
little bit to like you can negotiate better. You can definitely, kind of pivot the process to go more how you want it.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, self-publishing might be a good first step for most authors. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never published anything before except for Audacity. So, like, in theory, I guess like I'm self-published, but I feel like that's a
Yeah.
different beast than like doing like a whole book.
It's a thing, but you're doing all the same stuff. You got to publish, you got to market, you got to keep up with social media. You got like you're doing all the things, and it's like oh, all the steps, but you know, you get there. You get there. It's just a process for sure. Tedious,
Yeah.
really tedious. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Okay, so hold on. So like backing this up real quick. Do you mean to tell me that your publishing, your early publishing was low key just like a technology fluke slash error?
Yeah, it was a whole like fluke. It was really just fluke, and I was like, okay, so actually, funny thing, we're
Surprise.
yeah. So get your book, but it's okay.
That is hilarious. Okay, so like this will lead me to my next question then, which is I guess like in this new like digital marketing world that we're in, this new social media world, like how do you feel like that is changing or affecting how authors move and shake when it comes to publishing their books?
That's a good question. I feel like people are turning more to social media because that's like this generation, everyone's using it. Everybody knows the importance of it. Paid ads or like everything, like people are like, okay, we need to be on social media, like promoting this. And so I think it's just taking everything by storm. Like we are becoming a digital society. Well, we really are, but you know, we still have paper and stuff too. But people are like going to social media for everything to you know, tell about their lives, to blog, to talk about, you know, whatever people are doing, whatever their niche is, they are like using social media to do that. And I've definitely found that, especially on Instagram, of kind of finding this community of poets and writers that I probably would not have found had we not had like social media, or at least not as easily. But like really just being in touch with people all over the world and like people are like sharing, like, oh yeah, this is her book, and like you know, just having that access to like you put the word out and then other people in your network are like also sharing and you know, their people are you know, so it's kind of like this chain reaction of everyone is like kind of tapped in and kind of seeing these things or you're doing ads and so it's popping up on people's like timeline and stuff. I just think it's really taking everything by storm and it is like a lot of competition, I would say, because there are so many people doing the same things that you're like, you know, trying to promote your thing and they're promoting their thing and it's like, so how do I be competitive? So
Right.
it's like a lot of like thinking and like you know skills and tactics and trying to kind of figure all of that out, hashtags and whatnot. But
Right.
I definitely think I feel like it really helps.
Well, because now you gotta be a content creator too. Like you can't
Yes.
just nobody can just be like the thing that they're actually practicing anymore. Like I can't just own a magazine. I now have to create content. I must
Yes, exactly that.
I'm like, now when did wait a minute now. When did this become my job? Because I don't recall.
Right.
But like everything is like content now. Like
Yes, it is. Like that's a big buzzword.
there is film, there is this, and now like it's content.
Hmm.
And
Buzzword.
it's a buzzword. It's such a buzzword. Like so like as a writer and like and you write the things that you write about are very deep. Like you talk about love, you talk about, you know, like self-esteem and everything like that. Like how do you keep yourself creative with all of these little buzzword situations going on now? Because I feel like in order to make it trend, you have to make it buzz. But also like
Yeah.
you have to keep it authentic. So what is your secret sauce to keep yourself trending, but also keep your work unique?
That's a good question. Well, I will say that I like to call myself a life experience poet because I feel like people do kind of put themselves in like a category. And I didn't want to say, well, I talk about love and heartbreak because I feel like I talk about other things, although I do talk a lot about love and heartbreak. Um, so I like to kind of keep that kind of broad category as I talk about all life experiences, things that I'm going through, or things that people will tell me and that they will let me, you know, put into a poem or a story or whatever. Um, but I would definitely say I keep myself creative by just continuing to write. I've been in a little bit of a lag lately with everything going on with the book of like, I don't really feel like writing, but trying to continue to keep that muscle, you know, going. And even if I just write like one thing, or if I don't even write poetry, but just writing, you know, whatever is in my head. But just making sure that I'm writing constantly and consistently. Um, Definitely trying new things, being spontaneous. I feel like being out and about and seeing things really helps to spark creativity and helps you to kind of get involved in different things. So like I've done pottery, I've done axe throwing, I've you know, candle make, whatever you could think about, you know, to do as a way to like be doing something creative, but something that's different. And kind of just, having different experiences to grow as a person. But yeah, like doing things, being spontaneous, hanging out with people, being around people, being in nature, keeping my eye out, like really just watching. You'd be surprised at just kind of what you see when you just pick your head up and like look around,
Mm.
and see what's out in the world. So definitely just being out and about and making sure that I'm doing things keeps me creative and yeah, in this buzzworld world.
Those words. So much buzz.
Yes, so many.
Do you still write by hand at all, or are you like 100% digital? Because I love.
Oh, I write all the time. I have all of the, let me see if I could find here. I have all the notebooks. Like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
I write by hand. I do use the typewriter sometimes, and I mostly don't type when it comes to poetry, except when I'm putting my stuff, for like creating a book. But
Right.
I don't type my poetry and stuff like that. Otherwise, I really do just kind of handwrite it, or if I'm putting it, as a post, then I'll like type it in or
Yeah.
whatever.
It
But
just
yeah,
feels like more inspiring,
it
honestly.
does.
Like right, like I keep my I also have a notebook where I keep like all of, like my little like ideas and like business plans.
Yes.
Like I am still just a handwritten girl and like
Mhm.
I like choosing a notebook. Everyone thinks
It's
that
beautiful.
this one says written in the stars. I'm absolutely obsessed with it.
I love it.
Is like the love of my life, this little notebook here. But no,
So
like people
beautiful.
swear that like, oh, like it's just paper that you're gonna write on, blah blah blah. I was like, no, like it has to be the perfect notebook. It has
Yes.
to be the perfect pen. Like
Yes.
three of these now because my cousin's getting married and she like keeps giving us these because she bought like 1,000
Oh.
like Baba or something. Like it has to be the perfect pen. I have my AKA pen here. Oh yeah,
Oh, I love it.
Johnny's
I love
also my soror, y'all.
it. Keep up.
But like, yeah, like I think people really think that writing and journalism and not authorization, Lord have mercy, that's not the word. But being an author is like becoming some kind of lost art in the digital age. And like most authors, y'all, are still writing by hand. We just
No, definitely.
for y'all, but like 9 times out of 10, we are writing stuff down by hand.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's
Yeah,
better for the brain. It's
it is.
physically better for the brain to write things down by hand. So it warms my heart to see you
Yes.
writing by hand too. Ah, thank God. Thank God. Because y'all, so like Jhane and I are two different generations. Jhane is a little bit younger than me. I think you're Gen Z, right? You're 98.
Yeah, I think technically, I do sometimes claim to be a millennial, but
Right there on the
technically,
cusp because I think
yeah.
we're like the same age. So you guys are like the very beginning of Gen Z. So
Mhm.
like you're still young enough to remember the same stuff that I do because I'm 94. So like I'm like towards the end of millennials, but
Oh yeah, I'm 98.
you guys are old enough to still remember the same stuff that I do, but also at the same time, like there's a couple of things that y'all just did not latch onto the way that the younger millennials did as well. So like I think that they call us like zillennials because we're like right on the edge of like Gen Z.
Okay, yeah.
I look at Gen Z sometimes, I'm just like, dang, like it's so much technology. Like, how come I don't know how to use stuff? I'm supposed to be a millennial. I'm supposed to know how to do stuff.
Yeah. You know, the older I get, the older I feel. Like I did do a part-time work in a restaurant as a hostess, and everybody was like 15 and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like the words they were using, and I'm like, y'all are so young.
We're
Like
15-year-olds in restaurants now.
yes, yes, apparently so. I don't even know, but
What?
I was like, what is happening? I feel like I'm in another universe. I don't know.
I also feel like there's like a different mentality once you like get into the working world. Like no matter how like young or old you are, once you start working like full time and then like you have like your side hustles and stuff like that, like you suddenly just age.
Yes.
You just age.
It's just like, and I love aging, because my background is in gerontology, which is the study of aging. But
I didn't know that.
yeah, I do. I have a master's in that. And so I'm like, I love aging. Like I'm not opposed to it. We're all gonna get there. I do want to live. My goal is to get to 104. So we'll see. But I'm like, you feel it. You start to feel it.
You do. You do. I don't know if everything started cracking yet for you, but like, I mean, well, you do ballet, and I'm also an ex-ballerina.
Mhm,
I did ballet for 25 years,
mhm.
and
You were ballerina for real.
tired.
I just did it for a semester.
I was in the dance troupe when I was at Agnes Scott College. I was in the dance troupe for all 4 years, and mostly doing contemporary and modern. They were really like a ballet style group and everything, but I took ballet twice a week, and I took modern twice a week.
Okay.
And then I was in rehearsals usually 2 or 3 days a week as well. And I mean, when I tell you, I'm just like, just crack and crack and
That is me. That is me. I'm like, it doesn't
feel
move the
so
same.
later. Like, I don't know. It keeps you very young, but it also ages your body for some reason. Like it's very, very confusing.
Hmm.
But so I mean, like it's interesting that we mentioned this, but like, how do you feel like the maturity of your writing has evolved as you've gone through different life experiences and as you've aged? Because we're both still in our 20s, like we're not old people at all, But
Yeah.
like, how do you feel like your writing has evolved? Because this isn't your first book, is it?
No, I did another book and it's under my name, Jhazzymn Jhane. And so now I'm kind of rebranding and doing all my writing under Jhane, which is my middle name.
The
Um,
Renaissance sword.
which is
I love it.
yeah, so it's kind of a thing as well. But yeah, I've it's so interesting that you asked me that because in talking to a lot of people, friends, people who, I've read the first book, whatever, I'm like, I've seen so much growth in my writing since then. And that's kind of amazing to be able to see because I don't know that you really realize it until I guess maybe until I'm like thinking about my first book and then putting out this book and thinking like I've seen so much growth in my writing and I will be amazed to see like another couple years I do another book and kind of how I've grown as well. But um, the way that I've thought of poetry, I've always thought of poetry as rhyming, and now getting away from that and doing poems that they don't have to rhyme,
Right.
adding more imagery or using different language or using different metaphors or things to explain something. I've seen a lot of that growth from then to now with this book. I think a lot of people who have read both have said, this is much more vulnerable and like that they have also seen the growth in my writing. And I guess I'll go back because I don't know that I really explained kind of this book. Um, so my first book, which is called dang, what was the book? Composition, Thinking, Floating, Failing. I'm like, whoa, what was it?
The book.
But that one had three sections. It was a little bit shorter than this one. And the first section kind of talked about was the sinking section. It kind of talked about, negative things, depression, we were dealing with a lot of racial injustice, and we still are, but a lot of that was happening in that time. So I had a lot of poems around that. And then the floating section, which was like love and heartbreak, and then the sailing section, which was kind of all the lighter feelings. And I think that my current book, To Feel the Darkness But Choose the Light, is similar. And then it follows that kind of same pattern where it starts off with a lot of the heavier feelings and then it goes to like the lighter feelings. Um, but I will say that this book is about my life experiences. It's about um, dealing with mental health and kind of where I've been with that because that's been a big journey and theme in my life in these past couple of years. Dealing with um, just kind of love, the way that I love, and not just external love, but like love of self. Was a thing that I did try to incorporate more into this book. I incorporated my lyrics. That's something different. I don't think that I ever thought that my lyrics were poetry. And then in recent years, I'm like, there is a such thing as lyrical poetry. And so why not include that? That's been a big part of myself. And I think I've fought kind of with myself about having separate brands of like my music. This is the music me. This is the poetry me. This is like the professional me. But now I'm kind of combining all of that, saying, there's a space for all of me to exist in this space. Um, so there's a lot that I think is different and new and that um, has evolved as far as this book, myself, the way that I write, the way that I think about life and poetry and all those things. And I think that that will be present in this work.
Oh, this is so exciting. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there because I'm like, ooh, like she said this here, and I want to ask about that. And she said this here, I'm gonna just
Yes.
yeah, like it's a lot of fun stuff to unpack here. So, because you just say you're a musician as well.
Mhm.
Y'all, this lady can sing. Okay.
Says this one who can also sing.
Oh, thank you.
Slang and kinky boots, y'all.
It's so funny because before we did Kinky Boots, I honestly was like very insecure about my vocals.
I don't know why. Like,
I don't know. Like I've always considered myself like a dancer and actor first, and then like a singer was just kind of last, right?
mhm.
And I'm just like, I mean, like I know I can sing and everything, but like, my nerves usually get the best of me. I tend to not do as well in vocal auditions. Once I'm in, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd say not to do as well in vocal auditions because like I get nervous. I have like actual panic attacks. I went to audition for Six the Musical in Nashville.
Ooh.
And I like spent like my whole evening before preparing for it and everything. And I get up there and it's finally my turn. It was a very positive audition environment, probably one of the most positive ones I'd ever been in.
Good.
Very respectful of people's time. They had like a tea and coffee bar for people. Like it was very, very nice. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, this has been nothing but positive. Like I'm gonna do great. And then I get in there and I tripped up one time and I went to the pianist. I was like, I'm sorry, like that wasn't good. And then like the poor guy, he thought I was talking to him. And I was like, no, 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 I'm so sorry. I meant me.
Oh
Like
no.
not
He's
good.
like, what?
He's like, what? I'm like, no, me. I swear it was me that wasn't good. I was like, I'm sorry, can we just back up and everything? And then the minute I thought I had insulted this man, my throat actually closed up. I had like an actual panic attack mid audition and had to just like sing through it and like kept going. And when I left the room and everything, like they were like, "Oh, you did great," blah blah blah. I was like, "It was terrible. It was terrible." But it's always interesting because I feel like that's like a thing like with anything that we're doing branding wise, or like when it's you and it's your brand, like everyone can see how great it is
Sometimes.
except for you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I tell you, like, and hint your book, like, to like feel the darkness but choose the light, you have to choose
Yeah. It's a
what
choice.
positivity you're going to see in your brand when things don't go the way you want it to. And so it's just really interesting that you mentioned that and gave me such a nice compliment because I'm like, child,
Yeah. And
um,
I remember like you would say that sometimes during practice, but it was like you would get up there and we would do like the theme days and like you kill it when we're like working through and I'm like, she's great. And I feel the same way with like auditioning. Like I have such stage fright or like even doing things where I have to sing by myself or anything like that, like even talking, but like if I have to sing, it's just different. I'm just like panicking. I'm like, I don't know how to like calm my nerves. Like stage fright is a really big thing for me that I've had to work through.
yeah.
Um, but do you feel like, so question for you, do
Oh,
you feel like,
oh, shit. Go ahead.
do you feel like being in Kinky Boots helped you to kind of overcome that a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Like after Kinky Boots, I started getting callbacks for leads in musicals, which had never happened
Okay.
before. I still
Yeah,
haven't made it yet. I keep getting like this close, and I'm like,
but
okay,
it'll come.
right. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's just not my time yet and everything. But yeah, it did help. I will say that Panic Attack audition happened post Kinky Boots, but I think that was more so like I got myself too hyped up and everything. Like that was 100% not my environment and 1,000% me and like listening to the wrong voice in my head. But I think overall, and since then I haven't had a problem. But overall, yeah, I would say so. I think it was really helpful. And y'all, like our music director for Kinky Boots was amazing. He is a Grammy winner.
Mhm.
Don't be talking about him like this. He was in the original Kids Bop, y'all, and he is a great.
Yes,
Okay, so
you know? No, for real, like he was great.
yes, seriously, seriously, like he's awesome, and yeah, I would say, and it was honestly really fun getting to meet you in that cast and everything because like I met a soror, like it was all alpha men and women in that.
It was.
Like it was really a good time.
Mhm.
And so, I got to meet you who I thought like, I was like, oh, like Jhazzymn's really cool. Like she's a great singer. Like she does like all this like self-publishing work and everything. Like she's got a brand in order. And so like I never would have known that you had like basically like separate brands for yourself. Like your Etsy shop where you make the jewelry and the stickers. She's got really cool stickers, by the way, y'all. Completely irrelevant, but like I love her stickers and her jewelry. And like, wait, are you wearing your jewelry right now? Are those yours? Did you?
No, these are from Sun Sprinkle Shop, which I love. I have a couple of her earrings. She makes like these little dessert earrings, so these are little cakes.
Oh, that's so
I
cute.
have like mushroom earrings from her. She makes like really cute earrings. I don't know.
Ooh. Is she on Etsy? Is she in town?
Yeah, she's on Etsy.
Oh, bet.
Sun Sprinkle Shop, I think is the name. And she has like bases and stuff. They're really cute, like Art Deco, like really colorful things. So definitely check her out.
Yes, absolutely. All right, shout out. But yeah, like it was really cool to meet you because like I never would have known that you had three different brands running for yourself. Like I honestly thought all the buzzword you had all your content integration in order. Honestly, like I never saw you as like Jazz the singer, Jhane the poet, and then Jasmine the Etsy lady and everything. Like I always just saw you as like kind of one entity. Like your whole vibe and everything. I felt like just kind of went together and.
And you know what? I'm trying to like
Embrace it.
combine all of that and not make it where it has to be so separate.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's kind of what I'm learning too is that like I am a brand in and of myself, like as this person, and so why not put every aspect of me into this one thing. So I will sing like on Instagram too, even though it's for poetry. Like I will post pictures of myself, even though it's a poetry page. Like I think it makes it a little bit more personal too.
Hmm. I agree. Like it makes you more approachable for people to see like different aspects and different sides of you and everything. Ooh,
Right.
leads me to another question. Let's talk about branding. So now that you are doing more of like a full like integration of your brand and everything, what is next? Like what are your brand goals? What are your next steps?
This is a great question. Um, yeah, this is a really great question.
It's okay if you don't know the answer, by the way. It's still
Yes, I'm like I haven't really thought about what I want to bring into. I think what I really want to hone in on is the marketing aspect. I think it's a lot for me to learn and a lot of growth in that area that I can do, and I think that's kind of where I want to focus. So even with doing this book and like how can I market it? How can I get sales up? Like, how can I be out here really, being the spokesperson for myself in this book, which I do believe in. So really doing that and just marketing in every way, not just for this book, but like my brand, marketing that I do sing also. Really just putting myself out there in every way and doing more of that marketing aspect, I think is a big next step for me, both in learning and in doing and just kind of figuring that out.
I love that. And honestly, like it's super brave of you to do that and to do that and to like discover that you can do this right now in this age because a lot of folks get into their 40s and be like, I want to be brave now. And it's not wrong. It's never a bad time to be brave.
Yeah.
Like it's never too late to be brave. But it's always exciting to see like somebody like in our age group and everything knowing themselves and being like, actually no, like I'm ready now. I'm not waiting for it. Like I'm gonna do it now. So that leads into my final question.
Yes.
Let's actually talk about the book. Book. So like you told us a little bit about like what the themes are and everything like that and like what inspired you to do it. But how can we find it? How can we support it? Obviously we can support it by buying it. Y'all buy the book.
Buy the book.
You know, and pay for the book. Put the money, put it in your cart and
Put
buy
it in the cart. I love it. Yeah, so it's on Amazon. It should be on Amazon's everywhere, like internationally. So I've, going through Ingram Spark and they're like, do you want to put it here, here, here? And I'm like, yes, everywhere. And some of my international friends have bought it. So definitely Amazon, Barnes and Noble. And there are other places, like just check online your local bookstores, especially internationally, because I know there are different places that I really don't know about in other countries. But like I said, Ingram Spark has a big distribution. So look online, like search it up on Google, Jhane to feel the darkness but choose the light, and it should come up because it is out. The Kindle books will likely be out a little bit closer to September. My original pub date, September 9th.
it's
But
okay.
yeah,
We can still bring in all that 99 energy. It's no
we're
problem.
still bringing all the 99 energy, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like support it, buy it. It's 15.99 US dollars, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Probably find something that resonates with you. A lot of feelings, emotions, and things that we go through do transcend like where you're from and like who you are and all of that, because we experience a lot of similar emotions and things. So give it a read. Let me know what you think. Send me all your book photos. I want to see.
A review so she can drive up the algorithm. Give her a review.
That's a big thing, especially for independent authors. Yes, please review.
Yeah. Please review. It helps get more visibility.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Like, thank you for allowing me to share on Audacity. I love Audacity. Y'all support Audacity.
She's a
Um,
subscriber and she loves it here.
I love it here. So y'all will too. Definitely like be tuned in.
Oh, thank you so much again, Jhazzymn, aka Jhane. Y'all, make sure you purchase the book. It is on Barnes and Noble, it's on Amazon. We're gonna have all the information right here in the caption. Also, if you like this content, make sure you give both of us a follow and comment below to drive up our algorithm. Yes, I am gonna tell you to drive up the algorithm because we need it. So, thank y'all so much, and we will see you next time on Audacity.